Hello, so how's it going, YouTube family? Actually got an awesome afternoon here to get on out and see what's going on out there. The weather looks like it's going to cooperate today, and I am looking forward to getting offshore, doing a little trolling, and just chilling and relaxing. So spend some time with me today. I really appreciate all you followers. Elizabeth and I love you guys. We try to answer every bit of mail that we get. Lately, we've been getting a lot of mail. Got a lot of visitors coming down the Keys. So we're going to do the best we can to try to show you how to improve your catch and to kind of shorten that learning curve when you get down here. So stick around, follow me today. It's going to be an awesome day. Alright, we ran into a big problem, and that problem is, all of a sudden, this engine, this two-stroke Yamaha 150 started smoking like there is no tomorrow. Like, I'm an idle and I'm getting that much smoke right now. So, I have no idea what the story is. But we're going to try to hobble home. And it's been just a bad luck month for boats in general. Alright, we're gonna try to get home in one piece here. So this is like a really bad rendition of smoke on the water. I have never seen so much smoke pouring out of a boat engine that wasn't on fire. I checked it to see if like the engine was hot. It's not hot, it's just blowing like tons and tons of smoke. So I don't know what that means, but I know it's not good. So we're gonna try to hobble home. Never know, I have no idea. I just know it ain't good. I hope so. I'm just gonna hobble on back. I gotta get through Adam's Cut. Yeah. I have no idea what the hell happened to it though. Well, so much for FWC helping out. Of course, there'd be a little compassion there. A little, hey, can we help you? Can we escort you in? Woe is me, woe is me. The worst part about this is I'm missing a great day of fishing. At least weather-wise. So now I got to figure out what's doing that. Is it like a oil distribution, maybe the pump? If it's the pump is shot, do I have to replace the pump? Is the engine gonna blow? Do I gotta replace the engine? Do I just go out to, just be on the reef, sink it, make a new wreck dive? You've been with me for quite a few years, but this might be last rights time. So I'll be happy to get through Adam's Cut, get it back to the dock, do some research, ask you guys what you think it might be. Yamaha 150 two-stroke, the 2004, but I had it rebuilt. Apparently not well enough. I mean, I hope it's something simple, like if it's just like a little oil pump, that would be awesome. If it's like the rings are shot, that could be. Could maybe like the rings are shot, like lost compression. The wind is going the wrong way and I'm getting the smoke like on me now. Just my luck, the current is coming at me instead of with me. So I've got to fight the current all the way through. Not happy about that either. Here we go. We're just about to hit it. Let's see how good my boating skills are today. Under pressure, under pressure. Yes. All right, so I am so excited today because as you saw yesterday, I had the trouble with the boat coming in, limping in, And so spent all yesterday afternoon trying to find someone that would help me with my engine. And apparently everybody is so busy down here that nobody had time to even think about helping me. So I checked up and down the keys. Finally, somebody mentioned a guy by the name of Chris Carson, and he's down Overseas Highway down near Tavernier. So I give this guy a call, and I'd say, hey, explain the situation to him, and he tells me, listen, dude, I am so busy, I don't have time. He says, but I'll walk you through a couple of things. He says, are you any good with mechanics? I'm like, a little bit. So anyway, long story short is he walks me through the list and that, and checks this and checks that, and spends, I don't know how much time with me on the phone. And then finally we come to the point where we whittle it down and he narrows it down, and it looks like it's going to be this part right here, which goes on the reserve oil tank. And apparently what this is doing is it's not working properly. It's a float system that goes inside the tank. And when the float doesn't work properly, it overflows and sends too much oil into the tank, and then it overflows out of the engine. And that's what's causing all the smoke and all the oil leaking everywhere. I'm thinking blown engine, heads are shot, the boat's gonna be towed away into the abyss. So anyway, I'm on my way right now to this guy's shop to see if he's got one of these and meet him, because I've never met the guy, and thank him for the time that he took out of his busy day to do that. That's dedication to me. And so I'm gonna shout this guy out. Hopefully he'll consent to going on camera, and you get a chance to meet him. So Elizabeth and I are on our way, and follow us. It's going to be a very interesting day. So like I was telling you, we spent like all morning and all yesterday afternoon trying to find somebody that would help us with this boat, because I didn't know if you saw it smoking like crazy a couple of minutes ago. It was insane. So after getting sloughed off by a lot of people telling me how busy they are, this guy, Chris Carson, goes, hey, I don't really have time either, but I'll spend time with you, and if you can go to the boat and go through the system with me, I'll help you figure out what it is. And sure enough, he did. So we took the part off, and we're here at his shop. This is the most amazing place I have ever seen in my life. This has got boat motors. Look at these engines. Look at this thing. I would pay just to come in here. Look at these engines. Look at these old engines in here. This is absolutely amazing. Airplane just happened to cruise by and fly in. This is a museum in and of itself. This guy knows his stuff. And so I'm so excited. So he went to go look to see if he got one of the parts just laying around. And it was just a godsend to find this guy. So here we are, and I'm excited. He's going to be back in a few minutes, so we're going to introduce you to him. Cool. So Chris Carson, the guy I was telling you about, unbelievable shop, unbelievable guy, took the time out of his day to talk to me to help me fix this thing, squared us away, and I can't thank him enough. So I'm going to post his address and his phone number right on the description box below. If you need anything, any part for any motor.
Two-stroke motors.
Two-stroke motors.
Two-stroke motors.
Even better.
Fiberglass reed valves and two-stroke motors.
Dude, you are the best, man. Thank you so much.
You're
All right,
welcome.
I'm gonna do what you're telling me to do. Then I'll order the new one. I'll bring you back this one.
You got it.
Awesome. All right, so I got back to the house, and I've got the new part, or I should say the part that Chris gave me, that we're going to try to put on the boat and then run it and see if this is the answer. So if this is the answer, so be it. And then I'm going to order a brand new one at his suggestion, and then of course I'll bring him back the one that he gave to me. That dude didn't even charge me, man. I mean, talk about great guy. Talk about super businessman. I can't say anything. The guy's awesome. Then he also turned me on to this, which is an oil transfer pump troubleshooting chart, which was, I think, pretty cool too. And I'm going to return this to him also. I'm just going to make a copy of it and then bring it back to him. But again, above and beyond kind of stuff. So, all right, let's go put this one in, the one that he gave me to try, and see if that corrects the problem. I know that there's going to be a lot of smoking at first to try to get rid of all the oil that's in there. But I think after that, he feels like 95% chance that this is the problem. So we're going to find out real quick. So, yeah, follow me. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I'm excited. It's all right. So I've got the new one installed. I took off this little overflow. This is what Chris told me is this is an overflow that comes from this oil tank here. And so when this overflows, it's got nowhere to go. So what it does is it comes out this little pipe here, or this little tube into here, and then flows into the engine, down into the engine itself. So this doesn't, I guess there's no need, so it doesn't break. So this actually flows out into the engine itself, into the bottom of the engine. And that's why we have the oil that's leaked. So that makes sense, that this has overflowed, and this is not, the float system now is not controlling this any longer to stop the flow. So what we've done is we've replaced it with the part that he gave me. We're going to start it up. I'm expecting massive amounts of smoke, but it should dissipate if that float and inside that oil tank is working properly. And according to him, 95% chance. If not, then we got to go to plan B, C, and D. But I think this is going to work. Okay, so lots of smoke like I expected. Well, let's see if she calms down after a little while. No forward, no slow down. And so here's what we found out. So most boats have difficulty with under-oiling, meaning that the oil is not getting to the cylinders or getting to the fuel. In my case, it was over-oiling. So the first thing to check would be to see if the float system inside the remote tank is working properly. So Chris was kind enough to give me a working remote tank float system to replace mine with. And then if that would have worked, then we would have just purchased a brand new one, and then it would have been fixed and wouldn't have been a problem. But with these Yamaha, and I guess any oil injection system, there's several components that you've got to kind of work through. And again, I learned all this just recently. So you've got a remote oil tank where you put the majority of your oil in, which pumps through a tube or a line to the on engine, or the tank that sits on the side of the engine. And then that tank feeds each of the six, in my case 6-cylinder engine, each of the 6 cylinders with oil. And so what was happening is that there was so much oil coming through the system that it would overfill the little side tank, and at the top is a overfill tube, if you will, that would fill up with oil, and that pumps itself into the air system where the carburetors are, flooded that full of oil, which is why we saw all that smoke. So once I changed out the float system, cleaned out all the engine oil, took it for a run out in the bay, 10 minutes later, same thing happened. So we knew it wasn't that. So again, I did a bunch of research, found out that there's a CPU, or a central processing unit, or a computer on the back of the engine, and that is the thing that sends the signal to stop pumping oil when the float rises to the top of the tank. So that was a ton of money to replace, and while I was going to do that, I would have to replace almost the whole system. So we decided to try something a little different, which is to eliminate the oil injection system, and just mix gas and fuel, kind of like the old days, kind of like your lawnmower or your weed whacker, or like what they did with boats pre-1984. So today we're going to work on that, and we're going to see if that does the job. But we really want to see if the engine is solid and if that needs to be replaced or not. Don't think it does. Chris or his son do not believe that engine needs to be replaced. They think it's a strong engine. But we're gonna have Stan come on over this afternoon, and we're gonna take out the oil pump. It's a mechanical pump. There's a little rod that goes from the pump to the crankshaft. We're gonna eliminate that, and then put that pump back on, and consequently, essentially stopping the oil from pumping into the fuel injection system. And then we're gonna mix 50 to 1, 50 parts fuel to 1 part oil into the gas mixture, and that should provide sufficient lubrication, and the boat should be back, and I should be back out on the water in no time. So we're going to try it. Follow me. It's going to be an interesting little experiment to see how it goes. So we're working with Stan this morning, and we're going to do an operation on our engine. That's essentially going to disconnect the oil injection, right?
Correct.
That's it.
Yep, oil injection pump.
And then we're just going to mix gas and oil before we'll pre-mix. So what are we doing? We're taking off the mechanical oil pump right now, right?
We're gonna pull that and pull the drive gear out, and then put the pump back on so it seals up and we don't have any vacuum leaks.
Cool. And then we're going to take the float pump out of the tank that's on the side of the engine, and we're going to zip tie that up or tape it up.
Yeah, we'll put some zip ties on the float switch, keep it from telling the pump to pump.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing this. You have no idea.
Well, it's my pleasure. We try to take care of our community.
All right, this is a critical moment here. So not too much trouble getting to it. I thought it would be more difficult getting to it.
No, it's simple. You need a 10mm flex socket. Makes it easy.
I heard it pop out. It didn't go in the crankcase, so that's good. Whoops.
It's oily down here.
It is, huh? Still oily. I'll be damned.
That's a little bushing.
So there it is. Ah, that's the bushing that'll stop
the guts from falling out of the pump
and then going into the crankcase. Okay, great. So that's a pretty important piece right there. All
yeah,
right.
this needs to go back in after the gear comes out.
All right, great. Is it held in there by that cotter pin, or?
The link arm for the variable ratio here.
There it is. It's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's got to reach all the way in there.
It's made out of brass?
Center line of the motor. This is steel.
Oh, it is steel. Okay.
This one's steel. The drive gear on the crank is brass.
Ah, that's the thing that's brass. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah, the worm gear on the crank is brass.
And that goes all the way in. Wow, that's deep. It goes way deep.
So that would go on like that. And that's what lets it there. It's got little O-rings to seal it.
And the pump sits behind it.
And then the pump sits
Rotate.
right here and drives into that little flat drive there.
All right, so
So we take this gear in the washer. It doesn't go back. So this bushing is going to go back in.
that's to stop any parts of the pump from going into the crankcase.
That's to stop the pump from dropping its guts into the crankcase.
Gotcha. All right. So the bushing's back in,
Bushing's back in.
and we just reconnect the pump.
Get the pump back in line.
So the pump doesn't spin anymore; it just sits there.
Pump's just going to sit there. Yep. It's gonna sit there and block the crankcase so we don't have any vacuum leak or pressure leaks.
Hold it. Okay. Well, those are interesting little screws too.
Yeah, they have that. That's an elongated head on them, so you can get a.
So it's a normal. What is it? What is that? Like
6x1mm, 10mm head.
10 millimeter. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the thread is 6x1. M6.
Yeah, I see. That's why I wanted you here, not me. I'd have dropped it in the water by now.
Well, look, we got this pan here that catches it.
Is that the mount? That's the mount, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just moving this out of the way. Should have took it off in the first place.
Yeah, I saw it. They looked like it would be in the way. Yeah.
Yeah, standing behind the motor there, you can reach it and get it. But
If it was right, if it was out,
see,
yeah.
It's kind of just a funny angle.
Nice. Yeah, that made it a lot easier, didn't it? That mount just kind of keeps it from vibrating and like running all over the place.
Yeah, it keeps this pan kind of supported. Some of these motors have them, some don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think you'd cut down on some of the vibration too, no?
Well, it's got a it's pretty
Rubber
rigid.
bushing?
It's pretty rigid. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't move a whole lot.
You put the arm back?
Yeah, put that link back on there. Just if you ever wanted to rehook it back up, everything's on the motor still. You
Gotcha.
You
Mhm.
don't have to go looking for it.
Right.
And that little washer and that clip go in the link on the oil pump
Uh-huh.
just to hold this
That arm.
link secure. Yeah, it snaps on, but
Mhm.
it's just an extra.
So it doesn't pop off.
Yeah, so it doesn't pop.
Does that regulate the oil going into
That is,
the...
yeah,
Yep.
that's what tells the pump to pump more, pump less. So it's hooked directly to the carburetor. So it reads where your throttle is at, and
Uh-huh.
it pulls that pump to how much oil to pump.
So now as a result of doing this and mixing gas, we know that every cylinder is getting fuel and oil.
That's
Always.
Right. That's right. And if it's not getting fuel, it's not getting oil, it's not running, so it doesn't hurt it.
You can't run this with, let's say, 5 cylinders instead of 6.
It
can
wouldn't
you?
run. It wouldn't run well, and it would be
Yeah.
real bad on power.
Okay, got it.
This is a 200.
150.
It's a 150. Okay.
That's it. You did it. It's done.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the pump's
So
done.
now
We're
the pump,
gonna-
right.
We're going to tie wrap this float up.
You got a rag behind you, by the way, if you want it. You're sitting on it.
Am I?
Yeah, just in case you didn't have to. So, at first, that's the first thing you should check, though. If you're over oiling and it's overflowing, that's the first thing that we should check, right?
Most of the time,
Right.
it's this float
Yep.
switch, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, it wasn't. And that's easy. That's a no-brainer to just replace. That was even I could replace
Yeah,
that.
no tools required.
Yeah, yeah. So the best part about this whole procedure is it's reversible.
100%.
If I wanted to go out there and go buy all the, the CPU unit and the extra oil pump, then I could.
Yeah.
Or if somebody I sell it to someday or give it to.
If somebody wants it.
Right. All right, so there's that. So if I ever hear the oil alarm going off, I know it's because that thing just dropped down by accident. It won't, but I'm saying if I heard it go off, it's not that the engine's not getting oil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you don't ever have to worry about it getting oil. So if
Right.
your alarm goes off, it's either overheating or it's just come loose. But
Right.
it shouldn't come.
Something that I'm missing on there was there's supposed to be like a bushing or a washer on the bottom of that, right?
Yeah.
And I've never
Should be a
seen.
little foam.
I wonder if it's
a little
laying in
foam
that tank
washer.
someplace, because I've never seen it. I don't know.
See how fine that screen is.
Yes, so that's keeping out every little, yeah.
Yep. Any little debris. So yeah, what that little bushing does, it's a little foam bushing. So this nipple here plugs right into the hose, basically, that's feeding the pump.
Right.
So oil has to go through this filter, down this nipple into the pump. Without that little washer there, the oil from the surrounding could squeeze by it and drip in. So
then
you
get
could be getting debris in the...
dirty oil, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only thing, though, right?
Yes, sir.
So that thing is probably sitting in that tank someplace.
Yeah, it's either in there or at one point somebody took it off and it fell off. They didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what that's for. I don't know if those are little water bubbles or air. That's a real common thing, is to get water. In these systems.
And that's what that little nipple is down there on the bottom, right? That collects it, supposedly, right?
Well, it's when you trim the motor up, that'll be at the lowest spot on the oil tank, so all your debris or water or anything should go in there. Now, all it takes is a shot of water. We'll fill that up completely.
Right,
And if you get water in the system, the water is too thin. The pump will not pump water. So it just cavitates in that water.
Oh, that's interesting.
So a thimble full of water is enough to cavitate that pump and block the oil from flowing.
Oh, that'll stop the oil completely.
It'll stop the oil completely.
Okay, that's even worse.
Yeah, so water drains onto your deck, dribbles down on top of your oil tank, gets a little oil in it, transfers into this. It feeds in the oil. The water is heavier than the oil. It goes right to the bottom. It's the first thing to get pumped. Goes into your oil pump, and then just cavitates the oil pump. The motor doesn't know it's not pumping oil. You're running across the bay, and the motor locks
Yeah,
up.
that's not good. Okay. It'll be interesting when we pop that nipple off to see what's there, if it is full of water and debris.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't look all that bad. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. This thing's ever been off.
Nope, I don't think it ever has. Since 2004. What does it look like?
Hard to tell.
And it's not supple anymore, is it? It's just kind of, it's hard.
Pretty thick and clumpy, yeah.
Uh-huh. But like you say, it's never been replaced and or taken off. So I could have original oil from 2003 sitting in there. Wow. All right. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Okay, cool.
You see how slow that's coming out of there?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
Some
that.
thick stuff.
So that's the stuff laying on the bottom.
Well, yeah, it's
Right?
It's
Yeah.
draining that tank. Yep.
Is there any kind of preventative maintenance that you would do on that? Just like once a year, drain it, or?
Yeah, so that's one of the first things in the manual they tell you to do is pull the nipple off yearly. Yeah.
Okay, that nipple has never been taken off.
Nobody does it.
I've never done it.
That does it.
Yeah, never done it. Like when you bring it in for your annual service, yeah.
When you take it off, you're gonna spill oil, and the people go, "Oh, it looks fine to me." Just leave it.
Yeah, you bring it in for a service.
People don't even know it's there.
Nope. Yep.
Or don't know what it's for.
How about that?
Okay, this is gonna take forever like this. Where's that little?
Ah, right here. I see what you're gonna do.
Yeah, we're just gonna pull this whole tank off. We can dump it out.
It looks naked without that tank on it.
Yeah.
It looks funny.
You know, if you knew that you were never ever gonna put it back on, we take the tanks, and they do make a block-off plate you can put there.
I have read that.
You
Yep.
can do that.
Right.
So you could take that off, vacuum caps on all the hose fittings that would have air links there, and then this float. Since the computer does need this float in the system,
Right.
you just tie wrap this float somewhere.
Just
else.
anywhere,
Hang
right?
it in there.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
just let it sit there. Yeah, if you don't plan on selling the thing, then I know people don't always plan on doing things, but
No, that's been a thought,
if
actually.
you knew you weren't going to do it, then you weren't going to sell it, there would be no reason to have it.
Well, even if I sold it, I would just tell the person. I would say, "Hey, look, here's the deal. This is part of this deal." And you could reverse it if you want.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
that'd be the deal. It's like, I'm not doing it, but if you want to.
It is.
That's quite a lot of oil in
Don't drink that.
there.
Yeah, it holds a quart. Well, a quart would be right up to the top. A little less than a quart.
Got it. So no need to zip tie any of that stuff
Yeah,
back.
no, we're gonna
Right.
zip tie it all.
Oh, you are?
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll zip tie it just so it looks better.
Yeah, so everything is still intact. All of those lines that go to the carburetors are still sitting there. So there's nothing really that's, other than the pump, that's really disconnected.
Yeah, it's the
That's
drive
pretty
gear
cool.
is the only thing we disconnect.
Right.
Yep.
What are we looking at here? These two nipples here, with, is that a line that's
These?
coming off? Yeah, what is that?
So this motor will have 3 down this side, 1 on each cylinder,
Yeah.
3 on the other side.
Uh-huh.
And they run up around to the front of the engine here to the intake.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see right in. There's another brass fitting there
Yep,
with
yep.
a couple hoses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the recirculation system. So any puddled fuel or oil in the crankcase of the motor when you're running
Uh-huh.
will get picked up and brought back to the
And
front of
then
the
reburnt?
engine and kind of recycled. Yeah, reburnt.
Okay.
It also dribbles oil in the main bearings.
Okay. Oh.
So it dribbles it to the main bearings and then it kind of gets reburnt.
So that'll continue. That won't stop.
Yeah, that's always there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's always going to be there.
So that must make it burn a little, more fuel efficient and burn a little cleaner.
Yeah, you're not spitting that out the back,
out the
the
back.
exhaust of the motor, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're using it again. Yeah, when you're going fast, when the motor's high in RPM, you don't get that puddled fuel in the ports. But when the motor's going slow, there's not much velocity in the air running through it.
Right.
So in the ports of the motor and the bottom of the crankcase, any low spot will puddle a little bit of fuel and oil.
Mm-hmm.
So without them, after you idled for a long time, you would fill that motor with fuel and oil. You'd hit the gas, get a rush of air would come in, pick all that fuel and oil up, and just snuff out the motor, just stall the engine out.
Got it.
Yeah, I try to keep everything on the motor like it was.
Okay. You put that in there? Gotcha. How do we get it out? Just needle nose?
Upside down and,
Yeah.
yeah. Probably take it off, and if you were gonna hook this system back up, you'd want to take the pump, the tank off and wash it.
Yeah,
and
right.
Deflate it, so then you could shake the system out. But the drive gear falls in, then I put the washer inside of the filter.
Ah, okay.
Put the filter back down, and you're set.
It looks pretty.
And everything's on the motor. You don't have to keep that gear somewhere. You
Right.
lose it.
I would. Yep.
You also wouldn't want to put the gear out of another motor in it because these gears have been wearing together.
That makes sense.
This is a match set of gears now.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't want to say, oh, I'll just buy new gear if I ever need to.
Mm-hmm.
You got this one. It's on the motor. It's here.
Right.
Everything is on the motor still.
That the brass gear in there has been matched up to that over
Yeah,
time.
that's been wearing together for the last 30
Right.
years,
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to change that on it if you didn't have to.
Gotcha.
Certainly, if you had to, you could.
Right.
But it's much better not to.
Okay, what's to stop that over there, that pump in the external tank from pumping?
We're just going to disconnect it.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, we're just going to unplug it.
Gotcha. Ah, okay. And then I'll drain that one eventually, right?
Yeah, then you can pull that tank out.
That as well.
and get
I
rid
got a
it.
ton of oil sitting in there.
You have a whole another.
That's another
storage.
gallon or so, right?
Yeah, and you'll have that hatchback. You won't be full of oil all the time.
Okay, so we have a 70-gallon tank. So we're going to put 1.5 gallons of oil into the fuel tank, and then top the fuel tank up 70 gallons. So it's a perfect 50 to 1 mix. How does it look?
Well, we're right at 3 quarts.
All right.
Just put a little over a quart in.
All right. That's it.
Right there,
All right,
2
good to go.
quarts. Yep. We're going to take the fuel line off of the motor and
Okay.
pump it into a
Nice clean.
container, a clean container, so we can get the raw fuel out of the fuel hose. The filters, the fuel system in the boat. Once we see good oily fuel coming through, then we'll just come back up, dump this into the tank of the boat. We know we have a oiled supply of fuel to the engine.
Mm-hmm.
So when it starts, it's getting its oil it's supposed to.
Perfect. All right, beautiful. So how do we pump it out?
So you go to you stick this hose here into a tub. And your primer balls over.
Oh, the primer. We just squeeze that until we start.
We just squeeze this till we see fuel. Yep, oily fuel.
Now, I never use that primer pump because I've got I guess that's a pump that pumps the fuel in, right? I won't need to do that in the future either, right? It should stay the same.
Yeah, it'll be the same as it was.
Right.
Yeah, you can see that
fuel's coming out.
That fuel is raw. Until there's no oil in it.
So you can on it.
And it'll start changing color here soon. See that?
Oh man.
See it's green now?
Immediately, yep. Absolutely.
Now
right away.
Now it's green. We got oil there. So when the motor starts, it'll have
the
oil in the fuel already. It doesn't have to run without oil for a little bit. Yeah, that's plenty. That's good to go. This will be real green.
Oh yeah. Old City. All right, moment of truth here because we were just about to fire this thing up and I'm getting pretty excited. Ready? All clear back there? Running like a champ. And just like that, I am back out on the water again. Thanks to Stan and thanks to Chris Carson right there on Overseas Highway. Those guys are awesome, first of all. Unbelievable knowledge about two-strokes, actually any engine. You go to their shop, it's almost like a museum. I saw engines in there from the 1950s, 1960s. I'm not sure, there might even been some from the 1930s. It's an awesome place, it's got an awesome shop. And I can't thank them enough. They took great care of me. Above and beyond. It's really kind of, I think I made a friend today. So thanks a lot for following me. We should be back out on the water fishing in no time. Yes!